Hey guys, this is EckhartsLadder. Hello and welcome to another video. So we'll be talking about Halo today, but before I do, just a reminder that you can support the GoFundMe that I've started for the victims of the recent tragedy in Nova Scotia by visiting the link down in the description. You guys have been incredibly generous, and trust me, I definitely understand that money is tight, so if you can't donate, do not sweat it at all. But if you would like to help, and of course if you have the disposable income, there will be a link, as I said, down in the description. Anyway, we're getting close to when E3 would have been, and there won't be E3 this year. No one knows what's going on with the release of games that were scheduled to come out this year, like Halo Infinite, but all signs indicate that the newest Halo game will still be coming out this year. So without any news, people are wildly speculating, and rumor boards from 4chan to Reddit have come up with a myriad of supposed leaks, especially in the past few days. So today we'll be looking at some of these leaks, analyzing not only whether they're real or fake, but also how the community reacts to them. Okay, first off we have some supposed multiplayer gameplay footage from Halo Infinite, and there's a lot to unpack here. We see the Halo Reach assault rifle. Not only does it look like the Halo Reach assault rifle, but it appears to actually be it. We see what looks like Mark 6 Mjolnir armor. We see 343 dev names, indicating that it's some sort of closed play session, and we see some pretty familiar Forerunner architecture in the background. When I saw it at first, it immediately reminded me of the level construct from Halo 3. The thread for this on Reddit was pretty funny. Somebody commented, well, Halo 4 was leaked via a barn video, so not 100% impossible that this is real, and that's true. Footage from Halo 4 filmed within a barn was actually leaked online. It was a pretty wild time to be a Halo fan, and personally that's one of my favorite leaks period, just because of how absurd it was. However, there's more than just these pictures. We also get a description which accompanied the leaked photos in an apparent 4chan thread. So here's the information there. Apparently there will be a Microsoft event in mid-June. Halo Infinite flighting will begin then. It's a return to classic Halo with modern playlists and game types. One of the maps featured takes place in a cartographer room on an island. Spartans and elites are in. Figurines are a variant of multiplayer armor, with everyone starting out with the Mark 6. No sprint, but thrusters and stabilizers. Then from a single player perspective, apparently the lore is that the UNSC Remnant are scavenging supplies and the Infinite has been destroyed. Apparently in multiplayer, thrusters will act more like the ones in 4 and the evade feature in Reach, with bullet magnetism apparently being low as well. Besides from that, when we look at the screenshot, we can definitely see some new HUD elements, including what may be some sort of shield or respawn indication. However, unfortunately, it seems like these leaks are almost certainly fake. This is the Halo Reach assault rifle, and I don't think they would be using that even as a placeholder during the development of Halo Infinite, because it is using a brand new engine. We also know that the background is the exact texture and geometry of one of the backgrounds in Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary. So most likely this is some sort of mod of that game. It's really hard to tell, but there are other hints as well, including how the radar moves and an analysis of certain image elements, which have led most to believe that this is almost certainly fake. However, you'll notice that I'll say unfortunately, because most people responded quite positively to this leak, because it indicates not only a return to the classic art style. Personally, I was never a huge fan of the Halo Reach AR, but the armor and everything is exactly what we got in prior games, and also return to more competitive, less gimmicky multiplayer with the removal of sprint and a lower bullet magnetism. Personally, thrusters were always my favorite armor ability. I thought they were really fun and they work well in other sort of high skill shooters like Doom Eternal, so I would have been completely fine with them remaining in the game. And I really just mention this because I think it's important to indicate how the community is feeling about some of these more contentious issues. Not to say that this post singularly represents the entirety of the community, but I do think it's interesting to see how people react to these leaks. So decide what you will for yourself. Personally, as I said, I think that these leaks are fake, but if you think they're real, that's completely fine. I'm curious to read your guys' discussion down below, and also whether you like what's presented in this version of Halo Infinite. I will say before we move on, the only thing that would lead me to believe that this is possibly real is the fact that I don't recognize those Spartan models. They don't look like Halo 5, Halo Reach, or any other game that I can think of. But I still think the most likely explanation is that someone was messing around in El Dorado with Halo Online files basically, and importing just a bunch of different things, and this is what we get, but who knows. Alright, so the next two leaks I think are quite a bit more reliable, and they come from one of the most common sources of leaks in media, toys. Toys always are created and prepared before the official marketing launches for games, so all you need is one person take a picture of a box and there you go. That being said, I am not going to show these on the channel. I made a mistake once by showing a leaked Star Wars Lego set, and Lego straight up not only took my video down, but actually straight up struck my channel, which is really bad because it means you can't upload for a week, and if you get 3 strikes, your channel is taken down forever. So the first thing we get is a brute holding some sort of weapon. Now, some people have said that this is perhaps some variant of the brute shot, but when you look at the 2 different toy leaks, it does seem to me like we will be getting a new line of shotguns with a sort of rifled one in this image, and then a handheld one, almost like the Mauler in image 2. What's more, however, is this brute warrior in the first image seems to be wearing banished colors, i.e. the enemy faction from Halo Wars. There had long been rumors that the banished would be in Halo Infinite, and it makes sense because we'll need a new Covenant faction to fight against, and we haven't really had the brutes to fight against in the new series, so I think that would be great, especially where Halo Wars fans are definitely feeling a little bit left out. I think it'll be a very long time before we see a mainline Halo game where we're not fighting the Covenant, so this is how we get them in for this game. So the only real indication that this is Halo Infinite comes from the box of the toy itself. Now, I don't think this is a Photoshop just because of how high quality it would need to be, and for what it's worth, I also ran it through a photo forensics application, and I didn't see any element of manipulation, so take that for what you will. The other leaked set is a Spartan in gun gear armor, almost exactly like it is in Halo Reach, and holding some sort of pistol, perhaps a Mauler, but to me, it looks like a UNSC shotgun pistol. Again, you can look the images up if you want to find them yourself. I too think that this is legit, and it doesn't indicate to me that there will be a Spartan that looks like this in the game. Rather, I think it does hint that we will see this expected return to classic art styles. Gun gear will be maybe one of the armors in multiplayer, and I will note it doesn't give a specific name for the character, it just says Spartan gun gear. So there's a lot and also not a lot to take from this. It means to me at least the banished would probably be in the game, although that's definitely not for certain. We will need a Covenant enemy to fight, and same with the Spartan armor. I don't think that necessarily indicates that this specific armor will be prominent in the game, but more indicates what we should expect from characters, maybe from multiplayer, and hopefully a return to more familiar armor that we know and love, or at least that some of us know and love. I don't know, it's all really up in the air right now because we know absolutely nothing about Halo Infinite besides what we saw in those very brief E3 teasers. So we're all left wondering what's going on. What will this game be like? Will there be, I think importantly, classic movement, or will we see the reintroduction of the more advanced sort of thrust and sprint, and there's even been rumors of a grappling hook at this point. So a lot of questions, but very, very few answers. What do you guys want? And maybe more importantly, what do you expect? If you could make your dream Halo Infinite multiplayer and single player, what would it look like? And do you think that's what the game will end up being? All of that and more, please, down in the comments. Before we leave though, I will take a hashtag AskEck, and today's comes from Atomic1129, who asks, who was the most powerful Sith? So I've covered this a few times, but in my opinion, although there were some ancient Sith, especially like Vitiate, who had some very, very impressive feats, I think Palpatine is and always has been meant to be the most powerful, not only by George Lucas but also the writers of the expanded universe. If I remember correctly, I've done a whole video on the topic. I'll try to include it in the upper right hand corner, but yeah, I truly think that Palpatine was the most powerful Sith. He's sort of a culmination of the rule of two, perhaps a Sithari, and yeah, I don't think anyone else compares. Just my opinion though, curious to also hear what you guys think about that. Anyway guys, please be safe out there, make sure you're staying inside if you can, social distance, you guys know the drill by now, and of course, may the Force be with you.